All right, welcome back to another episode of Craftworks. We got so much done over here in the factory last time. I think we're gonna go back over to our mega base. It's been a little too long, and I think we're getting the factory to a pretty good spot. If you saw from the last video, we've got our concrete maker here. Upstairs, we're starting to work on the terracotta. So I might go get some more terracotta going. And let's see, I don't remember which colors, so this is more of a check for me. But we started getting some of the colors done here. So we got almost 2 rows of the different colors, still working on some of them. So even though we're going back to our mega base, it's going to work perfect because that's where all the terracotta is. So I'm going to fly back there. I don't know why these guys are here to visit us. We're just going to skip right past them. So we're going to go back, work on our mega base, and get some terracotta while we're there. All right, and we are back, and it is time to jump straight into kind of the project. And then we're also going to go out and get some terracotta. So I think we're going to start with a quick time lapse and get this all cleaned up because I want to do more crops around this. Not just a little bit over there, but really feel like, and maybe I should fly up here in the air. But I really want this whole area all around here to be where they get the food for this. Maybe landing on the church will be a good spot. Yeah, so really what I want to be able to do is be able to have all of this look like this is where all the crops came for the people who landed over there and came into the city. Now, we've got some other things we're going to need to do, like some of the animals that we're going to have around here. Maybe those will go out there, revealing my hand a little bit on what's going to be around here. But for now, let's get a quick time lapse of getting the dirt in, getting this place prepped so that we can start doing the decoration after we get the house done. All right, and from that time lapse, you're going to see that we may be ruining this area, or at least what some people think, because it's super flat now. Normally, I like to leave it more contoured like this, but we'll actually build it up. There's going to be different farms here, so we don't want it to look like they tried to, I don't know, maybe didn't take care of the land. We want it to look very much like it fits the farm style. So there might be some flat spots. There might be some parts that are raised up to meet that house. But next, I think we're going to jump into building the house. I think if we do too much on the exterior, the house may change because I'm still not sure. As you can see, it's still all dirt. So I'm not 100% sure what or how this is going to look. So let's start fleshing that out, see what we want to build, and then we'll come back to kind of the farmlands around it. Okay, now that we've made some progress back at the farm, we're out here to get some more terracotta. We want to get that shop up and going. So we're trying to knock 2 projects out at once. So it's grind time. We got the beacon in. Probably way too many shulker boxes. But let's start just taking this thing down. Okay, and 2 pickaxes pretty much down to nothing. We got a whole bunch dug out here. I've got the shulker boxes. We're going to take them back over to the factory. And then let's jump back into our build and see if we can get some of that farmer building built out a little bit more. All right, and after playing a little bit more with dirt, trying to shape out how we're going to do this, I think I've got something in my head. I think we're going to have kind of a main stairway here, 2 little entrances on each side. Well, you know what? It's not going to make sense me just explaining it with this dirt. Let's jump into build mode now. And let's see if I can at least kind of frame out the facade and maybe that side too. So I can at least maybe get out of my head what I think we're going to do here. So let's jump in. And a little check-in on our progress. I think we're getting at least the shape down. Now I'm trying to think of like, how would they build this being dirt poor? And it's mostly going to be out of wood. I don't want all of them to be brick and mud and stuff like we did with the church. I want there to be a little bit of difference around here. And so this one, we're really going to go with the woods. I think in here in the middle, we're going to do stone. So you can see I'm starting to put some of the stone in there. So that's going to make up that tower. This will be somewhat of the same end, except for I don't think I want this side to go as high. We might cut this one off a little shorter. So it's like a 2-story here, 1-story there, and the 2-story will encompass the farms behind it. So I think that's a pretty good spot for us to be in. Now it's time to just keep cranking it out. So I'm going to see if I can get a few more of the sides in here, get in some of the roof, and as you can see, we're building up some bamboo. That's going to be our secret roof material. But more to come on that in a minute. Let's see if we can get a little bit more of this facade figured out. All right, and another progress check-in. I think we're getting something pretty cool here. I'm still trying to figure out the roof, as you can see, kind of what the style is in the back. I'm not sure how it's going to quite connect, but this is that stairwell I was talking about. We really want to go with some texture in there. So making it look like it's been textured, maybe some moss is growing on it. I don't know if I quite have it there, like some parts seem maybe a little too clean, but I think it's kind of giving us that look that we're going for, that it's gotten weathered on this one side. And then we've got most of the profiles set up for the side of the house. You can see a little here. You can see the one over here on the other side is pretty close to that same one. It's a little wider. So there's an extra window at the top, but I think this is really coming together. Now we still got a lot of work to do on it. We still got the whole backside, but we at least got the front. We've got a concept in going that we like. So I think it's now time for me to just grind it out and see if we can get all of the framing up and then figure out what we're going to do about bamboo. This might be meaning to purchase from my own store or me and Apollo's store. So let me get that all constructed and then we'll get that roof in too. All right, now that we're getting some of that roof on and the backside, the glass in, we're making good progress. It's time to move those villagers in that are going to work on the crops in there. So one of the things I started doing is I actually moved 4 guys in here. All of the people in here were being a little static, so we moved in those villagers to kind of be the priests, I don't know, the clerics in this area. So we've got them moved in. They've got their workstations. The front pews here are their beds. So that's really going to be how we're going to do a lot of these buildings. So the clerics will live in the church. Out here, what we're building now is the farmers. So we're going to move some in that will work in the farm and then others that will come out here. So we're probably going to move, I don't know, maybe 8 guys over here, guys or gals. Just want to make sure we include everybody. But we're going to start moving them in. So as you can see, I've put a rail all the way down here. And this is the rail I used to get those guys in. We just extend it over to the farms. It's going to go all the way over to our villager breeder, which is not your normal villager breeder. It's just an area where we put down a lot of beds. It's over there. So I'm going to go grab them, get them moved over, and then hopefully we'll have that farm up and running. All right, and that went better than I thought, even though he's leaving a few carrots on the ground. Hopefully he's going to come over, share with his buddy here soon. But we got them in. That wasn't too bad. I thought it would be worse, but we just did it at night. So they actually came over here pretty easily. Had to manipulate the composter a few times, but I think we got it up and running. So we'll see if they start throwing it to each other, which I'm hoping because he's leaving a lot on the ground down there. But we're going to watch for that, see if he starts throwing them over here. And then we're going to get the other 4 villagers in once we get the roof completed and some of the farms out there done, which is our next step. So let's get this roof on and start getting some of the farm out there. Okay, and I should have mentioned this. We're actually going to keep track because all of the carrots you can see come down this hopper chain and into this chest. So this is what we've got in there right now. I want to do the work, see how much they actually produce. I'm hoping this wasn't a waste of time. It probably won't be, but we're going to watch this just in case, and then we're going to use this to be able to trade with our villagers. So that's kind of the benefit here. So we'll let them do their thing while we do our thing. All right, and I think we got that whole roof on here. I'm going to go into free cam real quick so that we can see kind of what this roof looks like all the way around. Now we got the little bump out here. This side might be getting a little plain. I might have to look at doing something on this side, but you know, we might have a few trees, so it might not be a big deal. But there is your fly around. Now the only thing we got to do is figure out what's going on the top of this. But overall, we are getting there with this build. So that is our overview of that. I'll get the top on, and now it comes the fun part. I love building the farms out front around it. So let's jump into that mode and get these farms going. And after getting our farmer hat on, we have a bunch of different crops in here. We have the wheat, some carrots, potatoes, some maybe things you wouldn't grow in the garden, but we want some color out here. As you can see, we put in a fence to hopefully kind of contain this area, make it feel a little bit more protected. And let's see, we got some different things that we did over here, where these are really just jungle leaves, but because of kind of what's in them, it looks like there's almost some kind of fruit growing on vines here. And obviously we get down to the water, so there's not too much behind the house that we can do. So we're going to put a little bit of trees in here, just kind of fill out the space. So when we're looking at it, it's going to give us those visual lines. Like if we come back here, once there's a few more trees here, I think we're really going to have that piece that makes this really have some nice sight lines. So you're not just looking off into the random distance, but there's something there. So if we jump in here, we've got our different crops that are kind of raised beds. We have our wheat here, and there should be enough room that we can easily kind of get around this portion. And then I still need to figure out what we're going to do on this side. Now I've got a plan for like the animals to be over here. Like we need to build out the rest of the farm with a butcher shop. So we might not extend this portion because I really want to make sure we know what's happening over here so that we can kind of blend the two together nicely. I don't want just like some straight line that separates them. I really want to feel like they were integrated together over time. So we might leave that portion a little bit undone. Let that wheat just keep growing. But this side we have all in. And now I think to kind of finish up this episode, we need to put in this road. I even want to get a road going over to our original spot where we came into this area. And so I've kind of laid out where we need to go. We need to build a bridge and get it connected. This will feel so good once we get it all connected. It'll feel like we're finally starting to tell a whole story here. So I'm going to go around kind of putting in the random road like I have. We'll get this all in, and then I'll bring you back and we'll wrap it up. All right, I think we got all the pathway in and the bridge. So what I thought I'd do is come back because a long time ago, we kind of did this whole area where these people crashed, came in, put up their tents, and I built the church specifically for a sightline. Now coming back to that sightline, I love where the house has ended up because now as we're coming through, we can get a peek of that. We round the corner, see the church, the path that goes to it, and the whole time there's kind of something in our sightline there. Now I've moved our portal over here to kind of get it out of the way so we can build some other stuff here. But now as you come over, you start seeing the farm, you see the house, and we actually got it all done, even that little piece up there on the top. So I'm pretty happy with where this build has gotten. Now we have a little bit more to do over on that other side. But we now have villagers. Oh, and I gotta show you how many carrots are coming in here. I was starting to get a little nervous just working in this area that I was gonna overflow our carrot storage. So I put an extra chest. We're almost 2 chests deep now. Oh, that's pretty good. These guys are doing awesome. And that's gonna help us to get even more emeralds. Because over there we have a manual carrot farm. And this will now help us to just let it run by itself. We don't have to keep going, flushing that down and replanting. This will just keep replanting for us. And y'all, that is going to do it for this episode. I love what we're building here. It's so cool. There's so much stuff that we can just keep building in this area. And I can't wait to get to the next project. But I think before we do that, we might head back over to the factory. So definitely watch for the next episode. And until then, we'll talk to you soon.